Hello everyone, my name is Susan Morales and this channel focuses on learning how to follow Jesus in an everyday kind of way, and we explore all kinds of topics and how they relate to the Christian worldview. But today's video is more going to be more of a chatty video, just talking about a few things, what's been going on over here. And so to get started, it was just Valentine's Day a few days ago. And how was your Valentine's Day? Do you guys celebrate that? Are you guys against celebrating Valentine's Day? I know there's some people that are against celebrating like Christmas, and apparently these days now some people are starting to be against sorry for the noise, charging my car here right next to a busy street. Some people are starting to be against celebrating Thanksgiving Day, and so we're living in kind of crazy non-traditional days. But well, I was planning on doing a few things with the kiddos and my husband, but wouldn't you know, at the evening before Thanksgiving the evening before Valentine's Day, I started to come down with something, and so I've been dealing with like a cold, and it started on Tuesday night and it's Saturday today. Today's been the best I felt all these days. So literally, like on Valentine's Day, I think I was just like on the bed, like I couldn't move, like my head was just like any little movement, my head felt like it hurt and stuff. So thankfully my husband was helpful, and I also, you know, managed to get up and do things from time to time. But like I would start a chore and I would be like, why are you doing this? Like your head literally hurts like as you're moving, so just go lay down. Sometimes like we want to do more than what we should, right? I think I want to talk a little bit about that too, about learning to take good care of ourselves. And it might seem like it has nothing to do with like the Bible, that it's not a spiritual topic, but it is. It really is. It's related to our, you know, like the spiritual warfare, the way we manage ourselves, the way we interact with other people. It's sometimes we make it really easy for the devil to like attack us and steal our peace and things like that. But also just you know, making right choices about how we eat as well. That also involves self-control and, you know, renewing our mind and things like that. So I mentioned on my last video that I remember God speaking to me through someone that I was going to, like, he was going to use me to help other people that are struggling with depression. And so I want to talk to you guys about taking good care of yourself. Like right now it's forecasted that it's going to rain in the next days, but already it's like cloudy, and in California you take it for granted, the sunshine. I will never take it for granted anymore. The last time we recently had a storm that lasted several days, and it was like literally like non-stop rain and like no blue sky. It was just cloudy. You hear like people talk about how in certain places of the world, for example in Seattle, Washington, that it's always raining. Oh dear, the car next to me is really loud. Okay, let's just keep talking. You hear about that people that live in those places where it's always raining, they don't get enough like sun. or even like in places where it's a lot of snow, and you hear things like we don't get the sun until, like, I don't know, and whenever we do have sunshine, we go out and we make the most of it. I know that's something that a family member has shared with us that lives in Minnesota, where the winters are very, snowy and cold. So yeah, here in California, especially coming out of a drought, we almost resent the sun sometimes. And so when this storm came the other weeks, I think weeks, I found myself in a sad place, difficult place, challenging place, a place where there's going to be growth, because God helps our character grow when difficult things happen in our lives. And so I was already, I've been somebody that I can identify with people that say that whenever someone describes like that they're depressed, and I don't take that word lightly, like how some people just throw that word around, other people minimize it for whatever reasons they have to do that. But I understand, I get it. It's beyond you're sad for like the day, and then the next day it's like you're back to your normal self, right? That's not depression. So I know what that's like. And so I knew my body was like there, or coming out of there, or but I say this to say, if you're someone that has dealt with like depression in the past or ongoing, you need to pay attention to, like, constantly be aware of where are you. Like, even if you have to like write it down on a calendar, to see like how productive were you, and then you can see, whoa, I was like depressed. It took me this amount of days to get past that, and for me to feel like my energetic self again, and things like that. Even if you have to do that, do it, because it's easy for a person to get lost in that, and maybe even spiral, So I knew that I was feeling low, but the storm and the weather, I didn't realize how that can impact that even more. And so I heard someone else say, I came to my women's Bible study class that around that week, and I had a heavy heart, and the person that spoke in front of everyone that day, she started off the Bible study saying, like, pretty much, she's like, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, it was a sad week for me. And I was like, yes, I can relate. I know that maybe the circumstances, or I don't know, whatever, like, they are obviously different, but I can also say I had a really hard week. And it got me thinking, you know what? The rain didn't help. The rain did not help. A lot of people get down when it rains. I actually have always been the opposite, because there's so little rain in California. Usually, whenever it rains, like, even if it's just for like a few minutes and that was it, I would like just love it. I love like sitting next to the window and looking at the rain and hearing it and just taking it in. But this time it wasn't like that, and I think it's because of what was going on in life. So I say all of that to encourage you that if you're going through something, you have to help yourself by doing your exercises, because the first thing that depression's gonna want you to do is sit down, lay down. I don't feel like doing anything, and that's when, I'm not gonna lie, you can't really push yourself to feel motivated. So all you have to do is like recognize, I don't feel like doing this. And I'm kind of upset that I am going to do this. I'm just gonna do it, even if I feel like I can't do it. I'm just gonna do it. Like, beside ignoring myself even. And I'm not saying to push yourself to something that you can't do, but do open up the windows, like get as much sunshine, go for a walk, make it a point to get outdoors. Do not neglect reading the Bible, especially in those moments. Forget about, your game on your phone or the show you're binge watching. You need to be aware, I'm going down if I don't keep my life simple and do the things that I know I need to do. So that's it. Take good care of yourself, because there's all kinds of different opinions about, like, the Bible. Some people throw out the word man-center a lot, but God gives us so many teachings, especially like in the New Testament, all about like ourselves, like managing ourselves, spiritual warfare, working out our salvation. If we want to live life blissfully unaware of the supernatural. And here God is telling us in His Word, you need to learn how to coexist with people. You are responsible for your end. The Holy Spirit is working in sanctifying you, and He's gonna sanctify other people. Let's just focus on over here, you. And so all of that is related, because if we don't take proper care of our body, which is part of who we are, we're not just spiritual, we are. God also entrusted us with this flesh, this skin and bones. So just like He expects us and commands us to do the right things for our spiritual being, He also expects us to take care of the outside too. And it's all related. If you make it easy for the enemy to come, and if the enemy stirs up some conflict, as small or as big as it can be, and you don't take the proper steps in taking proper care of yourself, then that just makes it way easier for the enemy. And he's just gonna have you, like, what's the word, when you're just repeating what happened, or how much you dislike someone, or how upset you are. It's like all he has to do is like bring it up in your mind somehow, and he's got you down. There's something that I read in my book. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video, but it says something like the enemy wants to distract those that are coming after him, pretty much. So like when we are living out the way God wants us to live, and we are connected, making that time with God, we are being wise in our interactions, loving other people, then it's like the enemy loses ground. And so if he can get you to be distracted, he can stir up conflict, and you're just so focused on that, and you stop taking good care of yourself, and he can get you lost for like as long as he can possibly get you to get lost and all of that. And guess what you're not doing in all of that time? You're not doing any damage to the what's going on in the what the evil one is doing. You're not holding your ground, and he's going to be able to enter your life, so to speak, and cause a lot of his agenda, a lot of chaos in the people all around you. Like, it's a common thing when you are, for example, you have a hard day at work. The boss is like acting so rude to you, doesn't appreciate you, all these things. And I'm sure that the enemy also wants to instill those kind of things. Ruminate, that's what the word I was thinking of, that wants you to be in a place where you're just constantly ruminating, and it's not fair, and all of this, instead of you taking it to God and just focusing on what really matters, about what he thinks of you, how he sees your efforts, and how you're living for him, even as you work in your job. So the enemy will want to use that, and if you let him take that territory in your mind, now you come home and you're gonna start, snapping. And okay, now my health teacher gave this example. The boss yells at the dad yells at the mom yells at the kids yell at the pets. So it's, and then we go out, and then we snap at strangers, and it's just like, yeah, that's exactly what the enemy wants to do, instead of Jesus' agenda, which is love yourself, love your neighbors. And if don't be confused by, you have to love others, and if that means that you're not loving yourself, then that's not Jesus' definition of love. You have to love others the way you love yourself. So Jesus teaches us we need to love ourselves too. Otherwise, imagine how we would be living our lives, like just thinking about other people, and yet like not taking care of ourselves. And that can happen, so we need to be very careful. And first things first, you're responsible for yourself here on earth. Take good care of what God has given you. God has given you. So take good care. Simplify. Do less things. Make time for the things that are important. Understand that you're probably not going to feel like you want to do those things. Just tell your brain, yeah, that stinks, and just do it. Because what I've noticed is sometimes our mind can lie to us and make us think, I can't do that. That's like it wants to make it seem bigger than what it is. Sometimes when we're so stressed, even the smallest little thing that will only take us like no more than 5 minutes, our brain is like, oh, let me procrastinate. No, I can't. I don't have the mental strength to do that. And so wouldn't the enemy love to just keep us in that place? So take good care of yourself. Surround yourself with people that are loving you and care about you and your well-being as well. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Talk to you next time. Bye.
I can see your love now. I can see how you gave your son for me. I can see your love now. I can see how you died for my place. I can see your love now. You're coming back for me someday.